If you're watching this today, there's a good chance something small, but deeply unsettling, has been happening with your eyes. Maybe the words on a page don't look as sharp as they used to. Maybe streetlights at night seem to glow with a soft halo. Maybe your eyes feel dry, tired, or irritated, even when you haven't been reading or watching a screen for long. And perhaps the most frustrating part is that it didn't happen all at once. It crept in quietly. One day you noticed you were holding a book a little farther away. Another day you squinted at a face across the room. Another day you rubbed your eyes and thought, why do they feel so dry all the time? For many people over 60, blurry vision doesn't feel dramatic at first. It feels confusing, subtle, easy to dismiss. But inside, there's often a quiet fear. A fear of losing independence. A fear of not recognizing faces as clearly. A fear of cataracts getting worse. A fear that vision loss is just part of getting older and nothing can be done. If that fear has crossed your mind, I want you to pause for a moment. Take a slow breath. Because while aging does change the eyes, decline is not the same as inevitability. Your eyes are living tissue. They respond to nourishment. They respond to what you eat every single day. And today, we're going to talk calmly, clearly, and honestly about how food, real, whole food, can support clearer vision, healthier lenses, and more comfortable, moist eyes as you age. No hype, no miracle claims, no complicated supplements, just food, understanding, and practical guidance. I've spoken with many older adults who felt discouraged by their vision changes. Some were told, it's just aging. Some were told, we'll watch it. Some were told, eventually, surgery may be needed. And while modern medicine has its place, what often gets overlooked is this. Your eyes are among the most nutrient-dependent organs in your body. They require a steady flow of specific vitamins, antioxidants, healthy fats, and protective compounds just to keep up with daily wear and tear. When those nutrients quietly drop off over the years because of appetite changes, digestion changes, or modern diets, your vision often pays the price. Blurriness, dryness, sensitivity to light, clouding of the lens. These are not random. They are signals, and signals can be responded to. Throughout this video, I'll walk you through how aging affects the eyes after 60, why blurry vision, cataracts, and dry eyes often appear together, which foods gently nourish the eyes from the inside, and how to build simple meals that support vision without stress or restriction. This is not about perfection. It's about direction. And no matter your age, your eyes are still listening. Let me share how I approach this topic. I'm not here to scare you, and I'm not here to promise you perfect eyesight. I'm here to explain how the eyes work, how they change with age, and how nutrition can support their function, especially when blurry vision, cataracts, and dry eyes start showing up together. In clinical practice and nutritional science, we've known for decades that the eyes are exposed to constant stress, light exposure, oxidative damage, inflammation, reduced circulation. After age 60, the body becomes less efficient at absorbing and delivering nutrients. Digestive enzymes decline, blood flow slows, cell repair takes longer. So even people who eat pretty well may still fall short of the nutrients the eyes need most. This is why vision often changes even when nothing dramatic seems wrong. It's not always disease. Often, it's depletion. The lens of the eye, for example, is made mostly of protein and water, but it has no blood supply of its own. It relies entirely on nutrients delivered through surrounding fluid. When antioxidant intake drops, that lens becomes more vulnerable to clouding. The surface of the eye, the part that stays moist and comfortable, relies heavily on healthy fats and vitamin A compounds. When those are missing, dryness becomes common. And the retina, which turns light into signals for the brain, is one of the most metabolically active tissues in the body. It burns through nutrients quickly. So the question isn't, why is my vision changing? The better question is, what is my aging I need more of now? That's what we'll answer together. This conversation is grounded in nutritional physiology, aging science, and decades of observation, not trends or fads. And everything I share today is meant to support, not replace, medical care. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Margaret. Margaret was 68 when she first mentioned her vision concerns. She didn't come in saying, "I can't see." She said, "Something feels off." She noticed that driving at night felt uncomfortable. Headlights seemed brighter than before. Her eyes felt dry by mid-afternoon. And reading, something she loved, left her tired. Her eye exam showed early cataract changes. Nothing urgent, nothing dramatic. She was told, "We'll monitor it." But emotionally, Margaret felt unsettled. Reading had always been her quiet joy, her independence, her escape, and suddenly it required effort. She worried about the future. She worried about surgery. She worried about losing control. When we talked, one thing became clear. Over the years, her diet had slowly narrowed. Less variety, less color, less fat, because she thought fat was bad. More convenience foods. Not terrible food, just thinner nutrition. Her eyes weren't failing. They were underfed. So we didn't overhaul her life. We didn't restrict. We didn't obsess. We focused on feeding her eyes. Over time, slowly, gently, she noticed changes. Her eyes felt less dry in the evening. Reading became more comfortable again. Night glare felt less harsh. Were her cataracts cured? No. But her visual comfort improved. Her confidence returned. And most importantly, she felt involved in her own care again. That sense of agency matters more than most people realize. After 60, the eyes go through very specific changes. The lens stiffens. Proteins clump more easily. Natural antioxidants inside the eye decline. Think of the eye like a clear window. When you're younger, the window has a strong cleaning system. It clears debris quickly. It resists fogging. As you age, that system slows. Oxidative stress, like rust, begins to accumulate. Inflammation acts like grit on the surface. Moisture production decreases. Blurry vision often comes from tiny disruptions in clarity. Cataracts come from protein clouding in the lens. Dry eyes come from poor tear quality, not just tear quantity. And all three are influenced by nutrition, especially antioxidants that protect lens proteins, healthy fats that stabilize tear film, plant pigments that filter damaging light, micronutrients that support repair. This is why food matters more now than it did at 40. Many people are told, just wait, just use drops, just get stronger glasses. Those help symptoms, but not the internal environment of the eye. Eye drops don't rebuild tear quality. Glasses don't reduce oxidative stress. Waiting doesn't replenish nutrients. Nutrition doesn't replace treatment, but it fills a critical gap. Instead of chasing one miracle food, this approach focuses on patterns. Color, healthy fat, consistency, feeding the eyes daily, gently. Now let's slow down and really talk about how food reaches the eyes, because understanding this helps you trust the process. Your eyes don't just use nutrients the moment you eat them. There's a journey. Food is broken down. Nutrients are absorbed. They travel through the bloodstream. They reach tiny structures inside the eye that don't regenerate easily. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. Let's start with colorful plants. Deep green vegetables, like spinach, kale, and collards, contain natural pigments called lutein and zeaxanthin. These pigments act like internal sunglasses. They settle in the retina and lens. They help filter harsh blue and UV light. They reduce oxidative stress that contributes to blurry vision and lens clouding. As we age, these pigments naturally decline unless we replenish them. That's one reason older adults often notice glare and light sensitivity. Now let's talk about orange and yellow foods. Carrots, sweet potatoes, squash, egg yolks. These foods provide compounds your body converts into vitamin A, like molecules. Vitamin A is essential for night vision, tear production, maintaining the surface of the eye. When intake is low, dry eyes often appear first. People think dry eyes mean not enough tears, but often it's poor tear quality. Healthy tears require fats and vitamin A derivatives to stay smooth and protective, which brings us to healthy fats. Your tear film has 3 layers. One of those layers is lipid-based, fat-based. Without enough healthy fat in the diet, tears evaporate too quickly. Foods like olive oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, fatty fish help stabilize that tear film. They don't work overnight. They work slowly by rebuilding structure. Now, let's talk about protein and cataracts. The lens of the eye is mostly protein. Over time, those proteins can clump and cloud, forming cataracts. Antioxidants help protect those proteins from damage. Vitamin C, found in citrus and berries, concentrates heavily in the eye. In fact, the eye holds higher levels of vitamin C than most other tissues. That's not an accident. It's protective. Vitamin E from nuts and seeds works alongside vitamin C to reduce oxidative stress. Zinc from whole grains, beans, and seeds helps transport vitamin A where it needs to go. This is why isolated nutrients don't work as well as food. Food delivers networks, not single agents. Let me share 2 shorter stories. The first is James, 72. James complained mostly about dry, irritated eyes. He used drops several times a day. They helped, but briefly. When we talked about food, one thing stood out. He avoided fat almost completely. He'd spent decades believing fat was dangerous. Once he slowly reintroduced healthy fats, olive oil, nuts, eggs, something changed. Not overnight, but after several weeks, he noticed he needed drops less often. His eyes felt calmer, not cured, supported. The second story is Elaine, 65. Elaine had early cataracts and constant blur when reading. She already ate healthy, but her meals lacked color, mostly beige foods. We focused on variety: greens, oranges, reds, purples. Within months, her eye comfort improved, her confidence improved, and she felt hopeful again. Hope matters. Let's make this practical. This is not a diet. It's a pattern. Start with one principle: add, don't subtract. At each meal, ask, is there color here? Is there healthy fat here? Is this food close to its natural form? Breakfast could include eggs with greens. Lunch could include vegetables drizzled with olive oil. Dinner could include fish or beans with colorful sides. No perfection required. Aim for daily greens, daily healthy fat, weekly fish, regular fruit variety. Drink water steadily, not excessively, and chew slowly. Digestion matters for absorption. Here's something important. Eyes heal slowly. They respond to weeks and months, not days. If you expect immediate clarity, you'll feel discouraged. Instead, look for small signs. Less dryness in the evening, less eye fatigue, more comfort reading. Those are wins. Build habits gently. Attach new foods to familiar meals. Repetition builds nourishment. One very common mistake I see is over-restricting food. People become so focused on doing it right that they cut out too many foods at once. Meals become smaller, less enjoyable, and harder to sustain. When the body feels deprived, it shifts into conservation mode. Nutrient absorption can actually drop, and the eyes, already sensitive to aging, receive even less support. Eye health improves with nourishment, not punishment. Gentle addition works far better than strict elimination. Another mistake is expecting supplements to replace real food. Supplements can be helpful in certain situations, but they do not carry the full complexity of whole foods. Foods deliver nutrients together, in forms the body recognizes and uses efficiently. The eyes evolved to be fed by meals, not pills. When supplements are used as a shortcut, the deeper nutritional needs of the lens, retina, and tear film often remain unmet. A third mistake is giving up too soon. Vision tissues change slowly, especially after 60. Some people eat better for a week or two, don't notice dramatic improvement, and assume it didn't work. But the eyes need time. They need repeated exposure to protective nutrients so damaged tissues can stabilize and stressed systems can calm down. Early changes are often subtle. Less dryness in the evening, less eye fatigue, and these are easy to overlook if expectations are too high. Another common issue is avoiding fat out of habit or fear. Many older adults spent decades hearing that fat was dangerous. But the eyes depend on healthy fats to maintain moisture and comfort. Without enough fat, tears evaporate faster and dryness worsens. Removing fat doesn't protect the eyes. It often deprives them of what they need most to stay lubricated and resilient. There is also the mistake of ignoring digestion. As we age, stomach acid, enzymes, and gut movement all tend to slow down. Even the best foods won't help if they aren't broken down and absorbed properly. Eating too fast, eating under stress, or skipping meals can quietly reduce how much nutrition actually reaches the eyes. Calm, regular meals matter more than people realize. Finally, many people fall into the habit of eating the same foods every day. While consistency is important, lack of variety can limit the range of nutrients reaching different eye tissues. The lens, retina, and tear system all benefit from slightly different compounds. Color variety, greens, oranges, reds, and purples, helps ensure the eyes receive broad, balanced support. Variety doesn't confuse the body, it feeds it. Taken together, these mistakes don't mean someone is doing it wrong. They simply show how easy it is to underestimate how gently and patiently the eyes need to be supported. This approach works best for people who are noticing early changes, want to support comfort and clarity, prefer gentle, natural approaches, value long-term health. It's not a cure, it's support. In the first few weeks of eating in a more eye-supportive way, the body is mostly adjusting behind the scenes. Digestion begins to adapt to increased fiber, natural fats, and nutrient-dense foods. The gut becomes more efficient at breaking food down and absorbing key vitamins that the eyes depend on. During this phase, changes may be subtle and easy to miss, but they are important. This is when the foundation is being laid, even if vision itself doesn't feel dramatically different yet. As the weeks turn into a month or two, many people begin to notice practical shifts. Dryness may ease, especially later in the day. Eyes may feel less irritated or fatigued. By 2 to 3 months, visual comfort often improves. Reading feels easier, light feels less harsh, and the eyes recover faster from strain. Emotionally, confidence usually returns earlier than physical changes. Feeling proactive, hopeful, and involved in your own care reduces anxiety around vision loss. And that sense of control truly matters. What feeds the eyes also feeds the brain. Better circulation, less inflammation, more energy. Vision doesn't exist alone. This is educational only. It does not replace medical care. Cataracts don't reverse overnight, but nourishment matters. Always work with your eye professional. Your eyes have carried you through decades of living, loving, working, and witnessing the world change. They have adjusted to long days, bright sunlight, late nights, and years of quiet strain. They deserve care, not blame. Vision changes are not a personal failure, and they are not something to feel ashamed of. Every meal is an opportunity to offer support, not pressure. Slowly, gently, kindly. When you approach eye health with patience instead of fear, the body responds far more positively. As we close, remember the core message: color, healthy fat, and consistency. These simple principles, practiced over time, help support your eyes from the inside out. You are not powerless in this process. Your daily choices still matter, and your body is still listening. If this video helped you understand your vision more clearly, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future guidance designed especially for aging eyes and overall senior health. And if you know someone who's struggling with blurry vision or dry eyes, share this with them. Sometimes, the most meaningful support begins with understanding.